Chapter 12 The kings defeated by the Israelites. Before Moses died, he and the people of Israel had defeated two kings east of the river Jordan. These kings had ruled the region from the gorge of the river Arnon in the south to Mount Hermon in the north, including the eastern side of the Jordan Valley. The first king whom Moses and the Israelites defeated was an Amorite, King Sihon of Heshbon. The southern border of his kingdom ran down the middle of the Arnon Gorge, taking in the town of Aroer on the northern edge of the gorge. The river Jabbok separated Sihon's kingdom from the Ammonites on the east. Then the Jabbok turned west and became his northern border, so his kingdom included the southern half of the region of Gilead. Sihon also controlled the eastern side of the Jordan Valley from Lake Galilee south to Beth Jeshimoth and the Dead Sea. In addition to these regions, he ruled the town called the slopes of Mount Pisgah and the land south of there at the foot of the hill. Next, Moses and the Israelites defeated King Og of Bashan, who lived in the town of Ashtaroth part of each year and in Edrei the rest of the year. Og was one of the last of the Rephaim. His kingdom stretched north to Mount Hermon, east to the town of Salekah, and included the land of Bashan as far west as the borders of the kingdoms of Geshur and Makkah. He also ruled the northern half of Gilead. Moses, the Lord's servant, had led the people of Israel in defeating Sihon and Og. Then Moses gave their land to the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and East Manasseh. Later, Joshua and the Israelites defeated many kings west of the river Jordan, from Baal-Gad in Lebanon Valley in the north to Mount Halak near the country of Edom in the south. This region included the hill country and the foothills, the Jordan Valley and its western slopes, and southern desert. Joshua and the Israelites took this land from the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Joshua divided up the land among the tribes of Israel. The Israelites defeated the kings of the following towns west of the river Jordan: Jericho, Ai near Bethel, Jerusalem, Hebron, Jarmuth, Lachish, Eglon, Gezer, Debir, Geder, Hormah, Arad, Libnah, Adullam, Makkedah, Bethel, Tappuah, Hefer, Aphek, Rasharon, Madon, Hazor, Shimron, Meron, Akshab, Taanach, Megiddo, Kedesh, Jokneam on Mount Carmel, Dor in Naphathor, Goim in Galilee, and Tisra. There were 31 of these kings in all, land that Israel did not take over. Chapter 13. Many years later, the Lord told Joshua, "Now you are very old, but there is still a lot of land that Israel has not yet taken. First, there is the Canaanite territory that starts at the river Shihor just east of Egypt and goes north to Ekron. The southern part of this region belongs to the Avites and the Geshurites, and the land around Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron belongs to the 5 Philistine rulers. The other Canaanite territory is in the north. Its northern border starts at the town of Arah, which belongs to the Sidonians. From there, it goes to Aphek, then along the Amorite border to Hamath Path. The eastern border starts at Hamath Pass and goes south to Baal-Gad at the foot of Mount Hermon, and its southern boundary runs west from there to Misrephoth Maim. This northern region includes the Lebanon mountains and the land that belongs to the Gebalites and the Sidonians who live in the hill country from the Lebanon mountains to Misrephoth Maim. With my help, Israel will capture these Canaanite territories and force out the people who live there. But you must divide up the land from the river Jordan to the Mediterranean Sea among the 9 tribes and the half of Manasseh that don't have any land yet. Then each tribe will have its own land, tribal lands that Moses had assigned east of the Jordan. Moses had already given land east of the river Jordan to the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and half of Manasseh. This region stretched north from the town in the middle of the valley of the river Arnon and included the town of Aroer on the northern edge of the valley. It covered the flatlands of Medeba north of Dibon and took in the towns that had belonged to Sihon, the Amorite king of Heshbon. Some of these towns were as far east as the Ammonite border. Geshur and Makkah were part of this region, and so was the whole territory that King Og had ruled, that is Gilead, Mount Hermon, and all of Bashan as far east as Salekah. Og had lived in Ashtaroth part of each year, and he had lived in Edrei the rest of the year. Og had been one of the last of the Rephaim, but Moses had defeated Sihon and Og and their people and had forced them to leave their land. However, the Israelites did not force the people of Geshur and Makkah to leave, and they still live there among the Israelites. Moses did not give land to the Levi tribe. Moses did not give any land to the Levi tribe, because the Lord God of Israel had told them, "Instead of land, you will receive the sacrifices offered at my altar." Moses gave land to the Reuben tribe. Moses gave land to each of the clans in the Reuben tribe. Their land started in the south at the town in the middle of the valley of the river Arnon, took in the town of Aroer on the northern edge of the valley, and went as far north as the flatlands around Medeba. The Amorite king Sihon had lived in Heshbon and had ruled the towns in the flatlands. Now Heshbon belonged to Reuben, and so did the following towns in the flatlands: Dibon, Bamoth-baal, Beth-baal, Moon, Jahaz, Kedemoth, Mephath, Kiriathaim, Sibmah, Zereth-Sahar, on the hill in the valley, Beth-peor, slopes of Mount Pisgah, and Beth-Jeshimoth. Moses defeated Sihon and killed him and the Midianite chiefs who ruled parts of his kingdom for him. Their names were Evi, Rechem, Zur, Hur, and Reba. The Israelites also killed Balaam, the son of Beor, who had been a fortune teller. This region with its towns and villages was the land for the Reuben tribe, and the river Jordan was its western border. Moses gave land to the Gad tribe. Moses also gave land to each of the clans in the Gad tribe. It included the town of Zazer, and in the Gilead region their territory took in the land and towns as far east as the town of Aroer, just west of Rabbah. This was about half of the land that had once belonged to the Ammonites. The land given to Gad stretched from Heshbon in the south to Ramath-Mizpeh and Betonim in the north, and even further north to Mahanaim and Lidebor. Gad also received the eastern half of the Jordan Valley, which had been ruled by King Sihon of Heshbon. This territory stretched as far north as Lake Galilee and included the towns of Beth Haram, Beth Nimrah, Sukkoth, and Japhon. These regions with their towns and villages were given to the Gad tribe. Moses gave land to half of the Manasseh tribe. Moses gave land east of the river Jordan to half of the clans from the Manasseh tribe. Their land started at Mahanaim and took in the region that King Og of Bashan had ruled, including Ashtaroth and Edrei, the 2 towns where he had lived. The villages where the Zair clan settled were part of Manasseh's land, and so was the northern half of the region of Gilead. The clans of this half of Manasseh had 60 towns in all. The Manasseh tribe is sometimes called the Machir tribe, after Manasseh's son Machir. That was how Moses divided up the Moab plains to the east of Jericho on the other side of the river Jordan. So these 2.5 tribes would have land of their own. But Moses did not give any land to the Levi tribe, because the Lord had promised that he would always provide for them. The tribal lands west of the Jordan. Chapter 14. 9.5 tribes still did not have any land, although 2.5 tribes had already received land east of the river Jordan. Moses had divided the land among them, and he had also said that the Levi tribe would not receive a large region like the other tribes. Instead, the people of Levi would receive towns and the nearby pastures for their sheep, goats, and cattle. And since the descendants of Joseph had become the 2 tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh, there was still 9.5 tribes that needed land. The Lord had told Moses that he would show those tribes how to divide up the land of Canaan. When the priest Eleazar, Joshua, and the leaders of the families and tribes of Israel met to divide up the land of Canaan, the Lord showed them how to do it. Joshua gives Hebron to Caleb. One day, while the Israelites were still camped at Gilgal, Caleb the son of Jephunneh went to talk with Joshua. Caleb belonged to the Kenaz clan, and many other people from the Judah tribe went with Caleb. He told Joshua, "You know that back in Kadesh Barnea, the Lord talked to his prophet Moses about you and me. I was 40 years old at the time. Moses sent me from Kadesh Barnea into Canaan as a spy. When I came back and told him about the land, everything I said was true. The other spies said things that made our people afraid, but I completely trusted the Lord God. The same day I came back, Moses told me, since you were faithful to the Lord God, I promise that the places where you went as a spy will belong to you and your descendants forever." Joshua, it was 45 years ago that the Lord told Moses to make that promise, and now I am 85. Even though Israel has moved from place to place in the desert, the Lord has kept me alive all the time as he said he would. I'm just as strong today as I was then, and I can still fight as well in battle. So I'm asking you for the hill country that the Lord promised me that day you were there. You heard the other spies talk about that part of the hill country and the large, walled town where the Anakim live. But perhaps the Lord will help me take their land, just as he promised. Joshua prayed that God would help Caleb. Then he gave Hebron to Caleb and his descendants. And Hebron still belongs to Caleb's descendants because he was faithful to the Lord God of Israel. Hebron used to be called Arba's town because Arba had been one of the greatest of the Anakim. There was peace in the land.